off the second session here, we're going to ask this first question, really important question here. And the question reads this, is by Jeffrey Greenfield. How many signs does a council candidate allow? And because I counted 30 by one candidate. And the second question is, how do you feel about double dipping? So we're going to start here with, Mr. Charles here.
Can you repeat the question again, please?
The first question, two-part question. How many signs is a council candidate, can I continue, please? How many signs is a council candidate allowed? I counted more than 30 signs for a particular candidate. And then the second question is, how do you feel about double dipping?
Can you explain what type of signs?
Lawn signs. With your name and your marketing efforts, I guess, on the lawns.
I don't know if any law statute requires a limit on lawn signs. But as far as the double dipping, I am not in favor of that. That's why, if elected council person, I will not take a salary. I believe that the leaders should make a conscious effort to lead by example, and I support the non-double dipping, and so that's why I'm not going to take a salary as the council person is elected.
Let me also say here, the second question is not really clear here, so I don't want to put you in the spot here. You can answer the question, but it's not very clear what they mean by double dipping, so I want to make that clear. In any event, you can answer the question. So we'll go on to Councilman Webster. Councilman Webster. The first question is about the signs, the lawn signs, yes.
Well, that's part of the political mystique, or, the way things are done in West Orange, political signs. And if there are a lot of political signs, I hope that person you're talking about is me, because more signs sometimes, more means that I think that people are supporting you, they want to be a part of where you're going and what you're thinking. But I also realize that some people have mixed feelings about it, and I know that there is a policy in limits that limits the times that lawn signs can be put out and where they can be put out. And one of my constituents is going to email me that policy so that we can maybe have a discussion about it. I know that's been discussed before.
No questions from the audience.
Okay. So there has been discussion on it, and I would be willing to discuss, the long sign issue. And then the second question is double dipping. I don't know. I just retired. My wife and I retired. We're senior citizens now. We're on a fixed income, so we're not doubling. And which gives me the opportunity, by the way, to work full time for you. I'm there. Someone mentioned that some of the people here mentioned in town hall that they said, "Do you work here?" Because I'm here so much. Just researching information, going all the way back to January and finding out what the resolutions have been and etc. So that's where I'm. We're senior citizens. So.
I'm a big proponent of the First Amendment, and as part of that, I welcome as many signs as we can. The town ordinance restricts the lawn signs to 30 days before the election. I've got 500 of them. They keep disappearing. What's up with that? I just track it up to if they're disappearing, it means it's working.
Okay.
In terms of double dipping, when I moved here to New Jersey 7 years ago, I was surprised to find that what actually double dipping is public officials being able to have 2 or more public paying jobs contributing to incredible pension payouts. And the legislature a couple of years ago outlawed that and then grandfathered in everybody who was doing it. And as probably everybody knows, our former mayor is a rather famous double dipper. And I'm glad that he voluntarily gave up that designation. But I'm certainly not in favor of double dipping.
The next question comes from Dawn White. And it talks about diversity in the community, and it says that what makes West Orange strong and I think attractive its perspective of its diversity. And what is the council doing to ensure that minority businesses, as well as those minorities in the city, have access to bids and jobs within the township? And we're going to start here with Councilman Webster.
Well, diversity starts, first of all, with leadership. If you're going to have diversity and multiculturalism and activities and programs, etc., it needs to start with the leadership. The sensitivity has to be there. People have to believe that that's important and want to pursue those kind of initiatives. And I know a lot of work has been done in West Orange through the Human Rights Commission, and they've looked at situations in where there may have been less than representation in some employment situations, and certainly in Board of Education, that needed to be addressed from a diversity perspective. But I say that it starts with leadership, and that during this election, there's an opportunity for us to maintain diversity in our community. Currently on the council, we have a Latino, we have an Irish person, we have an Italian person, we have an English person, and I'm currently the African American representative on the council. So we need to maintain that type of perspective with qualified, certified people as well. But it starts with the leadership, and that's a selling point for our community. And that's why many of us are consider West Orange to be the jewel of Essex County.
Thank you. Mr. Colville?
The way the question was phrased, it says, what's the council doing? Again, I've been here most of the council meetings the last 18 months. It really hasn't been talked about. But as far as I know, the public bidding process that's going on here in town has been followed closely. So the opportunity is there for people to bid on town contracts and also to be qualified as a professional vendor. One of the reasons that my wife and I moved here with our family is because of the diversity of West Orange. And I think it's one of our greatest strengths. It makes it such an interesting town to live in. And I define diversity not just by the color of someone's skin or even their ethnicity. I define it by, this is such a vibrant community because we've got people who have lived here for generations. We've got people who have just immigrated. We've got people of all income and wealth classes. And one of the reasons I'm running here is because the great diversity, the fabric of our community is at risk because the town is becoming increasingly unaffordable. But I got to tell you, I think we need to get the best person on the council, regardless of where they came from, where they're going, anything else other than they're best qualified. And it's the same way, any employment opportunities, we need to bend over backwards to make sure that everybody has a fair opportunity to be fairly considered for every position here in town, and as well as the town council.
Mr. Schultz.
I believe diversity is the strength of West Orange. But not only diversity along racial lines, but also diversity in your thinking and your culture. I think that is the more key, bringing that diversity on the town council. As far as the people in town, I'd like to see some more focus groups set up, and let's just take a listen to what the people have to say and let them raise their concerns and their problems. And let's take a look at a study, and maybe there is some validity to some of the stuff that they're saying. I think that through the study and through the listen to the concerns, we can find maybe there is some validity there, and maybe we can correct the problem if there doesn't exist.
Thank you. Councilman Webster. You have any questions? Okay. All right, so we have all three. The next question here is a little different. We asked the candidates, we told the candidates they can ask each other one question each. This should be interesting. So, the first person who has an opportunity to ask a question is Mr. Prokopian. You can choose which candidate you want to ask a question to.
Mr. Charles. Your platform focuses on taxes and spending, much like Dr. Webster's. But much like Dr. Webster, you have been a highly compensated lifetime public employee. Given that you are part of the government employee culture, how can you assure us that if and when needed, you will support reducing taxpayer-funded payroll, which makes up such a large part of our budget?
Well, if elected November 2nd, I will do what needs to be done for the families of town and the taxpayers in town. There's going to be times where strong leadership is needed to make tough decisions, and I feel I'm a person, I can do that. I have no ties to anyone to make that decision but the taxpayers and the citizens of the town.
Dr. Webster, you say that you are independent and want to put an end to tax and spend. Yet you were appointed by council members who have raised our property taxes an average of 7.5% a year since 2005, including this year. Your son is a law partner with the town attorney, which has required you to recuse yourself from review of the firm's bills to the town. Further, you say that you were encouraged and approached by unnamed community members to run. You were appointed after attending few, if any, town council meetings. In addition, your campaign is supported financially by many of the same contributors, many from outside of West Orange who have direct links to various governments, that have also supported current council members. How are the voters to reconcile all of these facts with your promise of independence?
Well, actually, that question there.
That's a good question.
It's like 5 questions in one. Okay. First of all, let me state for the record that I'm independent, and I state that I'm independent because I haven't run for office in West Orange before. I have not supported any political council person, any council member who's currently on the council. You won't find any donations to the mayor or any council members in their elect boards. I'm independent, and one of my examples of being independent is that I supported Sandra Mordecai, who was not the organization's choice for the Board of Education. So I consider myself very independent. And my son, as far as my son being a partner has a law firm in town and having a partnership with Trinket and Pasquale, the law firm. I'm very proud of my son, the fact that he's an attorney, a very accomplished attorney, and he has, as a matter of fact, 2 revenue-producing properties in West Orange that pay taxes upwards of $300,000 more. And so I'm able to separate myself from any activity that may come from an interest that is not solely grounded in the community. I'm my own man, I'm retired, I'm strong, I'm independent, I'm positive, and I'm committed to the community. I have a track record of being and to the community and to the constituents that I represent. And I don't think that's going to change at this point in any way.
Next question is by Mr. Ron Charles. We have 2 questions asked to the candidates.
My question is the same for both. I believe that today our leaders in government should lead by example. And right now we're asking for our citizens to tighten up their belt and budgets while making financial hardship decisions in town. As I said earlier, I plan on not taking a salary as West Orange councilman. One, to avoid a double dip situation, and 2, as a means to lead by example of controlling the spending. My question to both gentlemen are, would you take a salary?
Would I take a salary or not take a salary?
Would you take a salary?
No.
Yes. It's West Orange salary is not a high-paying job, but it is a stipend and covers your expenses. And I would take a salary. I'm taking one here.
Question? All right, so quiet, please. So, Council Webster, you have 2 questions.
Yes.
Was it that was your question? That was your question 2. So you asked just 1 for each. Okay, go ahead.
Let me go first of all with Mr. Kukoviak. Mr. Kukoviak, you're always painting the picture that the township has increased 7% over the budgets with property taxes over the last 10 years, and distorting the fact that responsibility is a three-part situation, and you're always projecting the fact that your website gives you in-depth budgetary experience, and then you're always saying that you're looking for transparency, and that your website provides transparency when all of the council meetings are televised and the highlighted situations are carried in the